I debated it. I went back and forth, and I figured, I figured that I, I figured that I don't. I figured that um, now would be the best time to do it. Now would be the best time to do it, and that's why I'm going to. Um, Cena finally. What Cena has to expect. Basically, a couple of days ago, I know that um, my last video about Jim Crockett Promotions actually did quite decently, but the reality of the situation is there were outlying circumstances that may not have been shown on scene or on camera about what was going on within the ranks of Crockett Promotions, and that kind of hurt the overarching the overarching story. And because of that, I decided to pull back and say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it anymore. And because of that, I basically had the idea of taking it a different way and maybe finding a different place to go. I just decided to pick 2004 instead of any other year because I knew the 2004 database and I figured it was the best place to go. So I so I did, and thus far, the time spent in the time spent in this has gone a lot better than expected. The time spent in this has gone a lot better than expected. So that's actually really good. Are we gonna get to WrestleMania tonight? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. What I do know is that I would like to get to WrestleMania is week 3, so I would probably like to get to a little bit before WrestleMania, if not WrestleMania. But I'm in no rush because that's one thing that I've learned with this season or with this personal save is that the more drawn out you are, or the more drawn out it is, the better off it is for you. I don't know what's going on with the camera. I really don't. I mean, I know a friend of mine explained that a friend of mine explained that basically I could set something up and have it with my phone, but I don't really want to do that because I don't really like using my phone in that way. because I don't really want to overdo it with my phone and have it where it has to be there and then I have to charge it because I'm using it. And it's like, no, I'd rather get a separate camera and do it that way. But if I can't have the separate camera, then I'd rather not, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather not have a camera then because I'd rather not use my phone because I don't want to have to overcharge it. Or, I barely like doing mobile streams because I don't like having to charge my phone. Like I like going at least 2 days without charging my phone. What WrestleMania is bringing up? What is happening at? Yes, I actually do type out all the segments, and just to show what you guys got to look forward to for WrestleMania, if I do end up streaming it, I'm taking it a different route because basically I'm not gonna force Brock and Goldberg to stay. If I can work out a deal for Goldberg, if I can work out a deal for Goldberg, I have no problem with keeping him. If anybody, if there's anybody I want to keep, it's Brock. But if I can work out a deal for Goldberg, I have no problem with that. As far as where things are going, I don't want Goldberg if he wants creative control. And right now he wants creative control, so right now I don't want him. If I can work out a way to get him without giving him creative control, I have no problem with that. But as far as right now, the answer is no. So that's why Brock and Goldberg are not fighting each other and they have separate opponents because right now both of them are going to put well, at least one of them would put their opponent over. I mean, I know it doesn't make much sense. Oh, Brock, Goldberg, fighting Mark Jindrak, blah 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 blah. I, like it was basically designed where it was supposed to be somebody else fighting Goldberg at WrestleMania, and not it being Mark Jindrak, but how I dragged out the storyline with him and Mark Jindrak and Garrison Cade, it warranted more to, or it pointed more to Goldberg versus Mark Jindrak at WrestleMania as Goldberg in a match at WrestleMania, but in a lesser important match because he's likely going to be leaving. Cena and the Big Show, Eddie and Benoit, Mysterio and Jushin Liger, Rob Van Dam, Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam, Mick Foley, and Randy Orton to do with a triple threat. The Dudleys versus Test and Steiner and La Resistance. And then, of course, Kane versus The Undertaker. I wanted to do Kane versus The Undertaker at the previous pay per view. I wanted to do Kane versus The Undertaker at Royal Rumble. I wanted to do Kane versus The Undertaker, go a different route, and just get it out of the way. But the fact of, but the fact of the matter is, but the fact of the matter is, I didn't do that. I didn't do that because, I didn't do that because of the fact that it's just like it's not for like I don't know why it's so I don't know why I'm getting so caught up on my words, but it's not that um what's the right word? Um it's not that um oh yeah, he did a segment with Nunzio. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. I forgot he did a segment with Nunzio, to be honest with you. But yeah, because of the amount of time I'm giving the cruiserweight title match, I have to limit how much I give the rest of the matches because we got to get the angle percentage down to 55. Otherwise, we're going to get penalized for having too many segments. I mean, for having too many matches. So basically, we need to get it down a lot. Even though I do want to keep adding segments, I mean, even though I keep wanting to add matches, and I do want to keep adding matches, I know I got to keep adding segments. You know what I mean? I know I got to keep adding segments. That's all I got to say. Because I also think that one of the problems in the previous one was I just wasn't doing segments for long enough, and that was dropping the success of the segment because I wasn't giving the segment enough time to simmer based on the rules in the new game. Because, like I said, I'm used to 2016. I'm still not used to 2020, but I'm enjoying it now that I have a stable ground and a bit of a foothold on what to expect from 2020. I know this is actually the first time, so I haven't seen, you know, this is the first time I'm showing this one on camera, so I haven't exactly been able to prove that I know what I'm talking about and that I have some stable ground with this. But by the end of this episode of SmackDown, you guys will see that I have some stable ground and I know what I'm talking about. But, I also would like to I also would like to I would like to I that again, I don't know why I'm having a tough time formulating sentences, but what I'm trying to say is I would like to have the opportunity to really just I don't want to say show off, but at the same time I would like the opportunity to I guess prove a point. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I don't know if that's the right way to put it. Show that I'm capable of grasping this game. I guess is the best way to put it. That like I want to show that I'm capable of grasping this game, and the best way I can show that I'm capable of grasping this game is by showing I actually know what I'm talking about. And that I can actually put together a game capable, like a personal save capable of actually me being successful. And this thus far is me being successful. Once I grasped the concept of how to do it. Now, taking the formula that is here and adopting it to other seasons, that's the difficult part. Or personal saves, that's the difficult part. Enter Jushin. with or without the Cruiserweight title, Rey Mysterio is fighting Jushin Thunder Liger at WrestleMania 20, which should be a banger of a contest. Legend versus legend. Which is something that I very much enjoy doing because legend versus legend is not always something that you're ever. I mean, it's not always something that you're actually always able to do. Legend versus legend, But also one of the main things that I like about this one, 2020 that you can't do in 2016 is the tournaments. I've already done two this year, Los Guerreros and the WWE Tag Team Championship tournament, and then John Cena fighting the Big Show for his right to fight the Big Show that Paul Heyman was standing in the way of fighting the Big Show. You know, so it's fun having the opportunity to. I always have the most fun having the opportunity to do things in databases that I can't do in other ones. Like in the 1970 database, as you guys know, one of the main things that I enjoy doing is booking people that I don't always have the opportunity to work with. And I did draw out uh, Chavo's feud with, I did draw out Chavo's feud with Eddie a bit because I wanted to, because I figured that it would be the best thing for us to do is to draw the feud out and to push it a little bit more because it would help. You know what I mean? I figured it would help. And the incredible thing is, if you watch, I could put Kurt in a match against Jack Evans in the main event. And of course, this will be when I get screwed and the game just fucks me because, well, I'm streaming it, and every other time that I haven't streamed it, it actually worked out. So this will be the time when the game comes back to, when the game shows that I shouldn't have counted my chickens before they hatched, and I should have just let it be. Yeah, maybe we do this. Maybe we do this. He would be so penalized. Tori's back, and that means that Tori Wilson has a secret admirer. I mean, one of the main reasons why I do this, chose to do this type of story, is because it just, to me, it seemed like a story, like the easiest way to tell a story would be to tell the story, not like, not to say, oh, it's a typical, oh, the guy likes girl, blah, 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 like that type of narrative, more just the idea of it's the easiest way to, to get Tori, well, it's the easiest way to get somebody on television who is an asset to the company. Excuse me. I mean, the one thing that I said, the one thing that I would say with, the one thing that I would say with working overnights is that I always said that if I worked overnights, that as long as the overnight shift did not interfere with the next day, then I would not have a problem with working the overnight shift. But I'm not going to say that that it's starting to, but it may be a little bit more indicative of feeling the effect of it the next day than it used to be, is what I'll say. Um, Rey Mysterio, Paul London, Billy Kidman, and Ultimo Dragon were the final members, were the final four. Ray did. Ray was basically the highlight of the match, which is surprising yet not surprising considering he's the most popular person by leaps and bounds in the match. But I am happy that the match did as well as it did. And I'm also happy that Rey Mysterio is no longer the Cruiserweight Champion and now the belt is on the Ultimo Dragon because people within the Cruiserweight division, the title can start sliding down the Cruiserweight division again and out of the reach of Mr. Mysterio. Not, again, not to say that Ray didn't deserve to hold the title. It's just that his popularity has skyrocketed. So to say that, Ray needs it still, no, I think the belt belongs on somebody other than Rey Mysterio, and that's just my opinion. But to see John Cena and the Big Show get a 97, I really don't know what to say. I also don't know how much of it was John Cena, but I genuinely don't know what to say because I wasn't expecting that segment to do that good. I'm happy. I don't know who's injured, but whoever it is still did good. I don't know if it's Eddie or Ray. I mean, Eddie or Benoit. Rikishi and Scotty beat the world's greatest tag team. I probably could have let World's Greatest win because of Scotty's status in the company, but I can always book a rematch next week and have him cheat to win and get the TV to keep going. Because the one thing that I just realized is I don't know that the Rock and Roll Express are able to be used on non SmackDown television, which means I don't know if you're going to be seeing the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions on anything other than SmackDown, outside of course, pay per view. But, either way, I just want to point out do you know how many segments Paul Heyman was a part of? And I actually think that this might have been Shawn Spears' debut. So the fact that he actually does not have good or bad chemistry with Perry Saturn, I wouldn't say it's good, but I wouldn't say it's bad. I would say it helps the situation because of what we're doing and what we're planning. And what we're planning is veteran mentorship, I think. Eddie was not supposed to be featured on camera, just Chavo. But actually, this is what I meant that Angle fought Jack Evans and still got an 81. Maybe I should stop doing that segment because it doesn't seem like that segment hits as much as I would like it to. And we got an increase in popularity in 33 regions with an 85. What was sporadic and almost unheard of in other seasons that I've done to this point, we're getting every week. Yes, I would say it's probably because of the segments. Yes, I would probably say Three Live crew member with Raven. I'm sorry, what? Billy Kidman, Paul London. Big Show thinks Paul London is a good person to try and invest in. Jackie Gata and Charlie Haas divorced, and now we got to fight for Paul. We got to fight for Brock Lesnar. And if it's anything like the last one, yeah, it's well over $300,000 a month. Still on the 3-year deal though, so that's good. Still on the 3-year deal. Well, yeah. Who signed? Somebody signed, didn't they? Hmm. I can't remember. I can't. I honestly can't remember if somebody signed or not. Hmm. Oh yeah. Can't leave this shit to chance. I gotta stay on top of my contracts. Um. I mean, the one problem is that there are people on the main roster that I can send down, and it's just the fact that I don't know who I want to send down, why I want to send them down, or if I need to send them down, because it's just like there are some people that I would just like having on the main roster as a spare body if there is nobody to get from the independents. You know, not to say we won't end up getting people from the independents. It's just that it's a little weird having who we have and not being able to, or not being willing to, might be more accurate. I mean, I do think overall we'll probably go for an hour, maybe do a week, and then check out next week, because next week is, well, I was going to say next week might be a Hot Ones week, but the fact of the matter is, I kind of said that I wasn't going to do that until. Son of a gun! The camera froze again. I was likely not going to be able to do that until next week, or have any desire to do that until after the holiday. But I do think we're probably going to go for only a little bit longer, because also I didn't even think about this, that I started streaming this right after I finished my Twitch stream, so I didn't even give myself any chance to repair, recover, or reinvigorate myself, which is not always the best thing to do. Hmm. We may actually end a little bit sooner. I'm not sure. I would like to end, because we're about 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I would like to end the week before, which I don't know that we can, because I don't know if I'm going to want to make it all the way through to that point. But also, I don't know how far I want to make it with stream, because I don't know where I want to end yet with stream, because we're only a half hour in. It's kind of like if I chose to stream now and stay for a half hour, it's like, well, why did I start streaming in the first place and not just take a second, relax, and if there was time to stream later, then maybe do it that way. You know, but that's just me. Again, I could easily. But the funny thing is, it's like you're doing this now. You're hesitating if you want to keep going. Yada 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 yada, and then you will probably end up playing this when you're off stream. It's just like, what, like, even though I am like leaning towards that, it's just like, what what like, even though I am leaning toward even though I am leaning toward even though I am leaning toward even though I'm leaning toward still playing this off stream, this also should have been considered somewhat of a background more than an official thing because that's kind of what these are, especially the first time I stream it. It's more of a this is this is where we're starting, this is what we hope to accomplish, this and that. And then the next one is supposed to be for the bigger picture and the more important shit because WrestleMania is the bigger picture, WrestleMania is the important shit, WrestleMania is where we're going. And I apologize if it did seem like I was bored or losing interest or anything like that. It's not. It's just that I'm a little out of it still from a long day of work last night. So, that's basically where I'm at with that being said. I think yeah, it was hi. I think it was Heat that I think it was Heat that I was on that I um started it off with segments instead of matches, and basically that helped. But I mean, I'm trying to get Paul London over. I'm trying to learn how to get people over and find my footing with this. I guess is the best way to put it. And I'm still not there where I can find my footing, but I'm getting there. If that makes sense. See, Canyon just has made a case for himself as being the guy who interrupts people. And because Canyon is the guy who interrupts people, that's why it's fitting that Canyon appears tonight. Because he's a guy who interrupts people. Mm, uh, but yeah, like I said, I didn't think that Rock and Roll Express would be able to compete on the B shows. They can compete, you know, they can compete on the A shows, but they can't compete on the B shows because physically they just can't. Yeah. So secret weapon for and yes, my goal is to make sure this is where it's supposed to be so I can be rated on the show and not have it be where it's a distraction or something negative because of the fact that we weren't able to, you know, get the right amount or whatever the case is. But see what I mean? We're at 55%, 40%, so we're within a certain range. It's like when you speed, if you're within a certain range, then you're less likely to get a ticket, but if you're over a certain range, then you're more likely to get a ticket. So, you know, we're in within a certain range, so we're not going to get the ticket because we're within a certain range. If that makes sense. It should. I think I did well enough explaining it, but you know, if not, I know I can also speak in ways that are very confusing, so that's why I asked. You know, and I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know that we're going to make it super duper late and not just, you know, outset late. Like there's no promises, but it's just going through my head now. When will we finish? The answer to that question is I haven't the faintest idea. Simple as that. You know, do I think we'll make it an hour? I think if we do make it an hour, we won't make it much past an hour because it's also the fact that I am considering letting this be the last one because part of me doesn't just seem up to like I shouldn't have. I'm not going to say I shouldn't have streamed today. It's more that I should have thought about it a little bit more before I started, if that makes sense. The real question is if Vince McMahon has The Rock, who will Vince McMahon have in their match at WrestleMania? Like, who will be Vince McMahon's stand-in? But that's the whole thing. The other reason why I chose TEW this time is because it seems like you guys prefer this more than me playing other games on the channel. So I figured I would go with the one that it seemed like you guys prefer more than the ones you guys seem to not care about. But at the same time, I didn't expect what we found. So, um, hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I was either going to say something or I was thinking something to say something, and I just don't know if that makes sense. Um, Honestly, I don't know. I mean, the hardest show to always book is the B show because you could do whatever you want, and it's a lesser important show, but at the same time, you want it to be a productive piece of content because of the fact that it's your second show and it's giving people that you could use in future world title matches because of consistent victories or what have you in those types of matches based on the formula that they've gone with for the better part of the last 2 years. Hmm. No, well, I stopped them. Um, See, I don't even like having Jericho and Christian be featured on the B show because of the fact that they're Jericho and Christian. But I think I'm gonna have to wait because it's not even that like preoccupied or boredom or anything like that. It's the fact that I'm just trying to figure out what the right way to go to get to point B, or even not just WrestleMania but also Backlash for us is, because I don't really think that rushing is the right idea. So we got the setup happening to set up the triple threat match at WrestleMania, non-title of course. Foley, Orton, and RVD. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, did I not just book something? I thought. Oh yeah, yeah, no, no, no. I did. I did. I booked the. Yeah, I booked the backstage segment. Okay. Um. I mean, I know booking Heat should not be this hard, but I know where I'm going. I know where I want to be, and I know what I want to do. So it's just like, how do I get there using the brands? But also, I know who still needs to be penciled in for WrestleMania and who's not going to need to be. And it's just the fact that I don't know if you can legitimately not have people on WrestleMania, or they expect you to use your entire roster, in which case that would be probably like 60 plus active wrestlers or 40 plus active wrestlers. So I don't know what the legitimate plan is for this current axiom that is within our ranks at Coles. I mean, honestly, I'd rather end it a little quicker and maybe refocus and come back next time to have a more detailed, in depth look at what's going on in this season. The main thing I wanted to do was just give you guys an insight and give you guys a picture of what I'm doing and give you guys a picture of where I'm going. The main thing is I'm trying to go in a different direction, because usually when Sting's contract's up, when it is, I usually try and get Sting in, do Taker versus Sting, yada 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 yada, and I usually typically run this bit the same way I normally run this bit, and it's like, the main thing is you don't need to do that. You choose to do that. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like, well, I might be choosing to do it, but that doesn't mean I don't want to do it. Basically, Jackie comes back and says that Trish is being soft. Oh wait, that's Trish versus. I just booked the segment to set up the match, and I totally forgot about the match. Shane's choice is known. And one of the few things that I've actually shared online is the fact that I like the idea. I do like the idea of, how I've been booking Vince and Shane in their feud. I like that idea because I like booking Vince and Shane in that type of feud because it's actually worked. So I like that idea because of that. No, I would say, and you know what? It, well, what just happened was me answering a question before anybody asked it. It's that basically the stuff between Shane and Vince has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with gaining control of WWE. Absolutely nothing to do with gaining control of WWE. The only thing it has to do with is this. Vince wanted everything to be about the past. Shane wants to look to the future. And it seems like we're going to be looking to the future because Brock Lesnar has signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So we may have a problem here. We may need to really think about what to do, where to go, and how to do it. Because the fact of the matter is, we just lost one of our top stars to New Japan, and that's a problem. But that is also the reason why I went a little different and didn't want to go like basically basically not every not every personal save or database opens up with pre-made storylines. And even if they do, they normally typically don't open up with the same storyline, like the number wise, because I made the top half, the game made the bottom half, and we met in the middle. But the fact of the matter is, I have in the past killed off the storylines that the game has pre-made and built in and chosen to go a different route because of the fact that I've done this, database, let's say 6 times, and I don't want to end up having Like I don't want to end up having um the same shit happen every single solitary time because of the fact that I have this knack to book the same shit happening over and over and over again. And it's just the fact that I don't want that. What I want is, what I want is something better. What I want is something different. What I want is to try and mix things up a little bit, to not have the same thing happen over and over and over again. But the fact of the matter is now, you best believe that Brock better not be featured prominently after WrestleMania or between now and WrestleMania. I mean, following WrestleMania, because like in the pre-booking, like in the plans, because he's gone. Which even if he no, actually that doesn't change until yeah, I remember now. You basically had the indication of Brock's leaving, so why feature him in that picture? Why not see if he stays and then feature him if he stays? I think I may just go the. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna wait 13 years to bring back Goldberg, but I'm just not super keen on fighting for Goldberg. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's because I'm not a fan of his or anything like that. It's just the fact that, like, how's the easiest way to put it? I'm not gonna fight for somebody I don't really care if I have or not. And if you want to base it off of, real life, then it's the idea that Goldberg leaves already because of how things were handled with him in WWE, and that WWE was more focused on uh, humanizing Goldberg rather than having Goldberg be Goldberg. You know what I mean? And to a degree, they just don't like, Goldberg. You know what I mean? Like to a degree, Goldberg is Goldberg, but it's Goldberg. You know what I mean? Like you got to let Goldberg be Goldberg. You can't just expect Goldberg to drop what he's doing and become something else. You got to let Goldberg be Goldberg. Otherwise, Goldberg will not be Goldberg. Like maybe what I'm saying is that the company could have allowed Goldberg to be Goldberg for a time, and then I understand why they didn't because he was only signed for a year, and he likely only would have signed for a year. But part of what 2004 was in real life, part of what 2004 was part of what 2004 was in real life was rebuilding the roster and setting up the future. And that's exactly what WWE did. They started rebuilding the roster and setting up for the future with Randy, Cena, Batista. The list goes on and on and on. And of course I could jump in and because hindsight is 2020, I can jump in and grab this person or grab that person or hope for the best with this person or hope for the best with that person because well, it's 2004 and we're in 2022, so I mean not even the fact that I know who becomes a star, but it's more the fact that like I know it would give me the opportunity to learn how to get somebody over. And I don't mean get somebody over, I mean legitimately get them over because that's what you actually have to do with this game. It's not, oh well, they work a year or 6 months and then they're good. It's like, no, they got to work this amount of time and then they're good. Foley basically tells Rob to back off. Foley basically tells Rob to back off because it's not his fight anymore. It's it's not his fight anymore. Um it's not his fight anymore. It's Foley's fight because Randy picked the fight with Foley. He did not pick a fight with Rob. Rob was only coming to help Foley and defend Foley's honor because he has nothing but respect for McFoley. You know what I mean? My cat is being very attentive, or I don't want to say needy, but she wants attention. Let's put it that way. Basically, the one thing you got to remember is that if there's anything Eric Bischoff is famous for, it's basically being a guy that always knew ratings were important and doing things for the ratings. And that's why he's taking advantage of a technicality by having he's taking advantage of a technicality um by having um I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. What is he having and what's going on? Oh, that Eric is taking advantage of the fact that technically until WrestleMania, Benoit is the Royal Rumble winner. So technically, he has access to the Rumble winner until WrestleMania when he's not the Royal Rumble winner anymore, which means he has until WrestleMania to take advantage of the ratings get to have the Royal Rumble winner appear on both brands. The Dudley Boys extend the challenge officially and La Resistance. The main question is, um, like the story going into that match is the question: are the Dudleys overly confident, and will the overconfidence from the Dudleys? Sorry, I fucked with the microphone. Will the overconfidence from the Dudleys end up costing him? I do think I would know the answer to that question, but it's really more of a question that doesn't need an answer rather than a question that does. But speaking of somebody who doesn't need an answer but wants one, to Court Maven. But yeah, this is the layout, and like I said, it was basically just my way of trying to set things up, show you what's going on, and explain where we're going and how we're going to get there to a degree, at least for the bigger overarching stories. And the main thing is that I basically am getting better, a bit better by the day about how to drag things out and make things more important and make things more worth it because it depends on how you do it with them. And that you make sure that if you want something to be important, you portray it as important because then people will get emotionally invested in it because they'll see it as something worth getting emotionally invested in. But either way, I do appreciate I do appreciate everybody and everything going on recently, and we will take just one quick second to say that it's not that streams will not be around as much here on YouTube. It's that I'm still trying to figure out the best way to balance out things on YouTube and on Twitch, and I just don't know what I want to do in that situation just yet, or with that situation just yet. Well, end it then. Like basically what Flair's saying is if you're tired of fighting him, then do something at WrestleMania to make sure you don't fight him anymore. I'm not saying from the standpoint of, oh, well, he's doing this, you got to do that. It's like, no, not necessarily. It's more if you want to, but at the same time, you got to go out there, you got to do this or do that anyway. So why not take your time and do it the way you want to do it as opposed to trying to rush through and make it happen just for the sake of making it happen? Yeah. You know, I keep going back and forth on if I want to finish the show or not. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I'm not trying again, I'm not trying to end stream for the sake of ending stream. I'm trying to end stream if it makes sense to end stream. And, you know, I'm just not sure if it makes sense to end stream because, you know, this was actually the first TEW stream in almost a little less than a month. I would say about 2 weeks off a month. And, you know, last stream, like, I don't want it to be where streams keep getting shorter and shorter and shorter on YouTube. You know, I really don't want that to be the case. I think that the main thing was, to be honest with you, I think that the main thing was, or that the main thing is, that I just didn't really know, like, I was feeling how tired I was. You know, and that now that I started coming to again, I'm not feeling as tired. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of wanted to end because felt like I wasn't matching the energy. But now that I feel like I kind of am back with the energy, that it would feel a little bit redundant to end for that reason because it doesn't feel like I need to, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like I need to. And I feel like giving an example of both Raw and SmackDown would be an indication of proof or enough proof that I can sit there and say one way or the other that we're in perfect condition for the future. You know what I mean? And actually have a proper direction. You know, the Royal Rumble winner is basically pointing out that without him, Shawn Michaels would not be the number one contender. So basically, he's saying, without me, you would not be in the position that you're in. Ha 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 ha. I don't know why I just sounded like, um, you know, very. I don't know why I just sounded very robotic, but he's going to be playing with the head of his son and The Rock. because he will not reveal who is his representative until next week. You know, so it's sort of like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know, I don't know if I don't know if he's on the same level, but what I do know is, um, I don't know if he's on the same level, but what I do know is, man, does it stink. As you could probably tell, I made the decision to I made the decision to finish the show, even if it wasn't in my best interest. I still did. Solid opener for the show. Solid opener for the show. Again, I'm surprised that I actually went through it and finished it because I didn't expect to finish it. But but either way, there we go. Yeah. Testing the Dudley Boys and Matt Hart. Yeah. Then we set up the triangle tag team match. Mark Henry and Pogo the Clown. And this is actually pushing a feud that's not going to be featured at WrestleMania, but maybe featured on the card in some way between Maven, Val Venus, and Thuggin and Buggin as Teddy, Teddy Long tries to recruit Maven into the stable. Evolution, for once, Evolution actually didn't open the show. When the WWE World Championship didn't actually open the show. So that's actually a first time for everything with the World Championship not actually opening the broadcast. I should have figured that. Scotty Steiner. See what I mean? Chris Jericho and Stevie Richards got an 80. On the other, and Stevie is very low on the totem pole, but Jericho's that good that he gets a good match out of the people he's in the ring with. Unfortunately, he sustained a broken toe, so there's that. But Trish and Chris Jericho are, their feud's reaching an apex. Rob Van Dam shows how good he is. Rob Van Dam shows how good he is against Buddy Landel. And then Shawn Michaels again pulls it out against Al Snow, much like Jericho did against Stevie Richards, which I know a lot of these matches were jobber matches or squash matches, but that's the position I wanted to take, where I could show that we could still get good ratings, but they don't have to be competitive matches. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with competitive matches. I did a half-hour match on SmackDown last week for the Cruiserweight Championship. It's like, no, I'm not saying that it's not a proper match or it's not a good match. I'm just saying that if you're going to look around and say what's going on, there's a backup plan. There's a backup plan, and that's what they're doing. They're doing the backup plan. But either way, I do think so. It's England. I mean, I don't think that I want to do another show right now. So I do think that this is where we'll end things. But either way, I do appreciate everybody stopping in and hanging out. And I do appreciate it if you did click on this video. It does mean a lot. So let me know down in the comment section below what you think of this. Well, actually, I mean, there should be a different outro to this than there is regular videos, as MLW might be the first company that goes under, because OVW still, OVW, even OVW has more money than they do, which is crazy considering OVW is my developmental, and if anything, should be making me money and getting the bare minimum because that's just how things work. Even then, it doesn't. Well, $369,000 is not a ridiculous amount in debt, but it's a decent amount in debt. But yeah, either way, I think I'm gonna put a pin in this segment, and we shall move on because the fact of the matter is, we haven't streamed since the 25th of November, and the last couple of streams have been bumpy because of what we streamed. But now we're back with TEW, and I hope you guys are excited about being back with TEW because I know I am. Even if early on I didn't show it, I would blame that on just having a lack of energy and being a little bit more fixated on being tired and a little less being fixated on um just being here, if that makes sense. Because that's just my opinion on it. Either way though, I just realized that YouTube's open here and we got that. But either way though, I'm trying my best to work things out and figure things out. And I think that step by step we'll get a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more comfortable. But right now we're still in the early stages of stability and comfort. And I just don't know that we're going to be able to sustain that right now because if if yeah, I don't remember what I was going to say. I remember what I came here for. What I came here for was that, and even though I honestly do know that I can't base what I'm streaming or how I'm streaming or anything about me streaming on what other people are doing because that's not how you make your own style. That's how you take somebody else's. And I'd prefer not taking somebody else's. So I'm just going to sit here and say that I would rather do this or that rather than, you know, book to the actual events or this or that. Because even though I have tried book to actual events, having this person win the world title when it was appropriate for them to, having that person do the same, yada 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 yada. And the reality of the situation is, it just got tiresome of doing that because why can't you just give the person what they bought and then move on? Why do you have to make a spiel about it? You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm gonna head off, and I will see you guys very soon for another stream. And if I don't see you again for another stream very soon, I will see you for another video not too long down the road. But either way, I do hope you enjoyed watching me play TEW, trying to figure out, and maybe in a way overthinking and trying to figure out what direction to go and how to actually operate here in WWE in 2004. But I do hope that you guys enjoyed and would love to see another trip down memory lane, going back to 2004 and the very beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era. Until next time, I will see you again soon.